Go ahead and start it. As a reminder to everybody, this meeting is a public meeting. It is being recorded and will be posted on the county's YouTube channel in the near future. There's no cause for public hearing. There are no items of old business to bring to the table. New items, let's move BEI Records Shredding to the end. Bond debt. Eric.
Good afternoon. We discussed previously the outstanding bond, and we wanted to look at different options of maybe paying off earlier than next summer, using either cash or a combination of cash and tapping the TAN or waiting for tax revenue in the fall. And after really looking at it, my recommendation was just to wait till we had tax revenues in the fall. The difference in interest is hundreds of dollars, and also provide us an opportunity to. There's still a lot of a year left in a year, and without knowing necessarily what other surprises we might have countywide, I wouldn't not want to take additional monies from our reserves for such a small amount of.
What reserves?
Exactly. Right. Such a small amount of interest. I'd rather just wait for tax revenues come in and we can reassess what the county expenditures look like versus budget, and then decide in October in the fall, late fall, if we want, how you guys folks want to proceed on that. So that's really the savings, potential interest savings versus the opportunity cost, the cash management flexibility just isn't worth it.
Right.
To do it any earlier.
I totally agree. I reviewed your letter, and I agree with your analysis. I'm all for it.
Okay. That's all I have.
Commissioner Errolston, do you want to weigh in?
I agree with the analysis as well.
Okay.
No, I'm looking forward to having it done.
Yeah. You're also going to presumably make a party, so we'll be out of debt for the first time in how long?
A long time, from my understanding.
Cool.
Out of bond debt.
Yeah, that's our only debt. Like, then we'll be paying off the TAN, we'll be completely out of debt for the first time in, what, a couple decades? It'll be a big celebration.
It'll be nice to have the bond debt paid off.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? Do you need anything more formal than that?
No.
You'll need a letter, presumably, to go to call it, right? To call the bond?
When it's
when it's time to do so, yeah.
Okay. We need 30 days?
Yeah, 30 to, at least 30, yeah. I mean, you can do it early.
Right, so why don't we, maybe, do you want to do it this week, or do you want to do it the next meeting? We'll just go ahead.
Well, we're not going to, we won't be calling it until much later in the fall anyway, so.
Yeah, end of September, right? So August or something?
Yeah, sometime in August we could probably.
Why don't we
just make sure that we have like a deadline.
Yeah,
Just so that
which is
we're
why
all
I'm
good.
thinking, why not just pass it sooner than later? Just write the letter, and we can run it through the meeting just to be super safe.
Okay. I mean, you could use the same thing. Yeah, I'll take it.
It just seems, I know it seems like it's a ways off, but I just rather be ready for it.
Right.
Time flies. Yeah.
Yes, it does. All right, anything else for Eric?
Just one quick question. This is July. Any idea when you were going to start requesting the budget inputs for next year?
I believe September.
Okay.
I'll be sending out a letter, like a whole packet of stuff for you.
Okay.
Anything else? All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
So we will come back to the BEI Records Shredding and LEPC, and also push public comments off because we have a couple special guests with us today. Tyler and Richard from ABM are here to talk about really state legislation that turns into an opportunity for the state. As we're all aware, we've done a courthouse feasibility study to rehab portions of it, including the roof, HVAC, repointing and painting the parking lot, et cetera, et cetera. But the project was over $1 million to do, and we could not afford that many. I mean, we don't have that kind of reserves, and we don't want to go into more bond debt or something like that, push that off any further. Therefore, we were looking for creative ways to potentially fund it, and ABM's kind of fell on our lap. They have a program that Tyler will be explaining, so I won't belabor it, but I think this could be the opportunity that we use in order to do the improvements to our properties that need to happen. We couldn't have afforded to do it most immediately without going into some sort of bond situation that would end up costing us over the long haul. So Tyler, why don't you introduce yourself, the company, and your concept. Yeah, why don't you go either stand up there, sit with Jeff, whatever you want to do.
Take the opportunity to sit with Jeff.
There you go. You're one of the few people still pulling through.
No, yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to be here, so thanks for asking us in. Ben did a pretty good job of explaining it there, so I mean, really we're here for two reasons. The first is that we believe pretty strongly, based on some preliminary analysis, that the county has a great opportunity to self-fund some infrastructure and facility improvements in a way that do not require you to increase taxpayer burden. And the second is that we believe that if implemented correctly, the program could not only generate some funding to make those improvements, it could also generate some general fund relief, increased budget flexibility, and savings for the county. So we believe it could be a potentially very good thing. If you could hit that for me. Really what I wanted to show you today, and we'll hit most of this fairly quickly, is just conceptually how does a program like this work? What did we find in walking the facilities, and why do we think Warren County has a good opportunity to do something like this? How it could potentially be used to help the county achieve some strategic initiatives moving forward. Really, this is a graphical representation of what we hear from the majority of our clients, is that for the better part of the last decade or so, our public sector clients, counties, municipalities, townships, K-12 school districts, largely expressed that their expenses have increased dramatically, if not exponentially, over the last 10 years, while their ability to generate increased revenues has been fairly stagnant. There's a lot of reasons for that. A lot of it is, the housing market crash and people going out and reassessing all their properties and property values going down, and then your property taxes don't generate as much as they used to. At the same time, you've got unfunded pension costs, healthcare costs that are skyrocketing, unfunded Band-Aids coming down from the state. Let's do more with less every year. It creates a pretty big gap. So we feel that this solution can be part of bridging that gap. How it works from a funding standpoint, this is an example of a past client of ours. In this example, the client was spending roughly $900,000 a year on their utilities every year. That's, as you can see, electric, gas, water, sewer. The maintenance of the facilities, things like minor repairs and maintenance contract services, things like that, about $55,000 a year. And then in this particular case, they had an annual debt service payment of about $325,000. So all total between the three, they're spending roughly $1.3 million. Now, a public entity is legally not allowed to encumber a future year's budget in order to invest in facilities or infrastructure improvements. Basically meaning you can't borrow money from next year in order to make improvements today. So what happens is a lot of counties, a lot of school districts end up with a very long list of unfunded capital needs, right? Things like HVAC repairs, roofing repairs, the exterior, the brick pointing and things like that. Very expensive to get done, very difficult to cash flow on one year's budget because you can't borrow from next year. It's really difficult to do, especially if you don't want to go borrow money against the taxpayer, right, as been expressed. There's legislation in Pennsylvania that says if an accredited energy services company identifies ways to reduce your spend in utilities or what you're spending on the operations and maintenance of your facilities, and they're willing to guarantee that you will see those savings, then you can borrow against the guarantee of the energy services company rather than borrowing against the taxpayer. So you don't increase taxpayer burden, you get money, but it's on the back of an accredited energy services company, a company like ABM, rather than being on the back of the taxpayer. So if you go out, in this particular case, what we did was we went out and we made all of those improvements. They come with inherent savings. If you replace all your lights and you move to LEDs, it saves you on your electric bill. If you replace old rooftop units that are high intensity repair, dropping compressors and motors and things like that, and you're spending a lot of good money on bad units, you go and you put new units in, and all of a sudden you don't have as high repairs. So in this particular case, what we did was we were able to identify ways that we could reduce their utilities by $224,000 a year. By installing new equipment, we were able to reduce the repair spend by about $17,000 a year, and then they refinanced some debt, which generated about $16,000. So total, ABM guaranteed this client $257,000 a year in annual savings. The way that turns into a budget, and one more time for me. These are the numbers that you saw on the previous slide: $224,000 in utilities, $17,000 in reduced repairs on old equipment, and the refinancing, $16,000 a year. If leveraged over a 15-year term, it turned into $3.8 million that this client was able to take, go out and make all of those improvements that they needed, right? The HVAC improvements, the roof improvements, the exterior aesthetics. They went out and they made the improvements, and that's completely funded through the guaranteed savings. So it's not a new budget line, it's a budget neutral approach to funding the solutions. We did do a feasibility walkthrough. This was pretty high level, but we walked around. What makes us think that Warren County has a good opportunity to do this? There's an opportunity for LED lighting retrofits. There's a good opportunity for HVAC repairs and retro commissioning, some older HVAC equipment that maybe you don't have the money to replace or you don't want to replace. We can go in and refurbish it, bring it back up to design specifications. Building automation systems, things like night setbacks and weekend schedules, holiday schedules, to make sure that we're not conditioning spaces when we don't have to, or we're not overly conditioning spaces. And there's a long laundry list there, as you can see, of things that we believe can be achieved here. And then it can also fund some non-energy related things, things like repairing the outside of the building, aesthetically, building envelope repairs and improvements, painting, masonry work, exterior refresh of the courthouse, things like that. There's some big opportunities in the jail as well, as you can see listed there. I think water conservation would be a big one, as well as a lot of the things we talked about, lighting, HVAC, building automation. There's some kitchen upgrades we can make over there that would pay back for themselves and generate. And then again, some maybe more capital intensive things that I understand to be a need of the county in terms of like maybe an elevator, maybe there's a way to incorporate some cell improvements and things like that. But again, a lot of what we observed over there seems to suggest there's a good opportunity for savings.
Which makes sense. I mean, that's our largest budget item in the county, and it wouldn't, in many cases, if you can find savings there and find ways to shave a few percentage points off in different places, produce a lot of savings.
Yeah, I think there's a very nice opportunity in that facility. E911, a lot of the same stuff, older HVAC equipment that's inefficient, high repair bills over there, right, with that equipment going down fairly frequently. Of course, then there's also the nature of that needing to be a 24/7 facility and everything. Uptime is very important and critical, obviously.
Yeah.
So there's big opportunities there as well, as you see listed, a lot of the things we've already talked about. And then, I think especially the HVAC and building envelope stuff at that facility could really generate a lot of savings for the county. The Warren District Justice and Domestic Relations Office, again, a lot of the same stuff, lighting retrofits, domestic hot water. There's instantaneous hot water heaters now, and much more efficient. There's a big opportunity over there to replace that. Some building envelope things. There's some HVAC improvements over there. We heard the systems are maybe fighting with each other a little bit, heating and cooling at the same time.
So just as a summary or as an example, like with the jail, that building was built in 1982. Like so much of the equipment in there and facilities are, in some cases, original. In some cases, they were replaced 20 years ago. So the idea is that these systems are outdated, running the end of their life. They're inefficient, and so you replace those systems, which then run at a higher level of efficiency, producing a cost savings with energy and maintenance.
Yeah, so I think there's a handful of things going on, but I mean, really you hit the nail on the head, right?
And then the concept again is that essentially there's an agreement where we're essentially borrowing against the savings that we're going to have by making these upgrades.
Right. So, and basically, ABM guarantees that to you. So contractually, ABM would guarantee that you will see X dollars of annual savings. You can go borrow against that guaranteed savings rather than against the taxpayer. And then we're on the hook for writing a check for the difference for the next however long you find it, if it's 15 years or whatever. If we don't make a guarantee, we're responsible for making you whole again. Now, if you generate more savings, that's the other party that Ben was talking about.
So then, another party. I like parties. I like them a lot more than some of the other meetings. So, and then, again, this is your job, this is your business, so you don't throw these projects around willy-nilly or without research. These are savings that you wouldn't enter into the agreement unless you verified them yourself or you felt convinced that they were, through your own engineering evaluation, that you'd be capable of delivering on them.
Yes, so that's really the beauty of the legislation, is that in a plan spec model, sometimes the needs of the client and the needs of the contractor are not necessarily aligned.
Which we see all the time.
This legislation aligns your best interest with our best interest. They become one and the same. So to your point, we never overstate your savings because we're going to have to write you a check for the difference. So we are incentivized to, if anything, be conservative, which probably increases the chance that you see more savings than we guarantee. But it also aligns us for the next 15 years. For warranty issues, ongoing service, we can't walk away and say, well, they made the last payment. We have to honor, we have to make sure these systems run that way for the next 15 years. It's really a great system for making sure that interests are aligned.
So just as an example, we made a deal with you in order to use the jail as an example. You guys are in charge of speccing out the job, like figuring out how it functions, what it's going to do, what the savings are, and then you work with you create the bid documents and everything, bid the projects out, bring contractors in, replace everything, and this is all under the auspice of the long-term savings are going to pay for the work. And so, with a minor county contribution, the facilities are updated, the county sees the savings, and you guys get to make a little bit of money doing what you're meant to do.
Yeah, so ABM's role in it is completely turnkey. So to your point, we would design it, engineer it, procure it. To your point, you would select it, us through a public procurement process, right? But then from there, we would handle procuring everything on your behalf. Now, you can weigh in on that, and we encourage that. If you have certain contractors, local contractors you really like to work with, you really want them to be part of the project, great. If you have people you maybe don't want us to work with, let us know that too. We'll go and we'll procure it for you, we project manage everything, and then we commission it and guarantee it for you. So it's really a pretty turnkey solution.
So in that scenario, you work with the contractors, the job is halfway done, and there are change orders. They come and they're like, we got to change this and that. What happens then?
Yeah, so we do encounter change orders on every job. Our subcontractors change ordering us as ABM. But again, that's one of the ways that, so I came from a plan spec background. I didn't like that. I never liked going to a client and saying, I can't honor the price I gave you. I need to charge you more. That's one of the beauty of these programs, is that contractually we do not issue any change orders to you. So we might experience one from a subcontractor, but it never gets passed on to the county. So that firm fixed price is what you pay for that project.
The estimate is the estimate.
Yeah, I mean, the price that we give you is firm.
And that's part of whatever deal we do together.
Right.
Okay.
Change orders are like the evil of construction. So.
Well, there's only so much that we can know about engineering and everything else. So, you get into a situation where the groups that you're working with start arguing with each other about why the change order is what it is and everything else, and it can be a real headache.
And the single point accountability, I think, is something that's worth mentioning. You know, you can't end up with an engineer that says the contractor installed it incorrectly, and the contractor says, no, it was designed incorrectly, and where's the accountability? You know, who can you hold accountable, right?
Yeah.
So in this scenario, it's only ABM. We are accountable.
Yeah, it's baked into the agreement.
There's some warehouse opportunities as well, but I don't know if any of them are worth going into any too much detail, so.
So what do you need from us to move forward?
So I think, you know, probably doing a little bit deeper dive as we discussed, you know, just trying to gather up a little bit more information and really come back to you and share what we think the fiscal potential of the project.
You need to do the monitoring to do that, right?
Yeah, I think that's something that we can talk about if we want to, there's maybe put some data loggers in and see how the facilities are actually operating.
Okay, well, I'm fine with that. Let's just go ahead in this public meeting and say that yes, you can do that.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, with all of the infrastructure and capital, you know, challenges that we have, any setup or proposal that we could put together that would involve mitigating costs to the taxpayers would be a huge benefit, and we absolutely want to look into it. So,
Yeah, completely understood.
and it sounds really great. I mean, this is something that we've looked into in other areas before. This is the first pitch that I've seen that seems really feasible for us and doable, and you know, has, like, I think that if we can get all of the right data and it works out and everybody feels comfortable with it, I think it would be a real great opportunity. So
if that's true, we would love the opportunity to help you.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
it makes sense for the town.
I guess I'd say I would agree. Like, if you need to do data analysis by putting people into the county and doing research on the specific systems, then great, let's move forward with that. And then I guess at some point we put together documents for an RFQ, and then we put that out, and then basically you and any other agency that's similar to you would be able to bid on it, and then we'd open those bids at a work session and then go from there.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. I mean, as a public entity, obviously you want to have to go through a public procurement process. We would be one of the firms that would be very interested in working with you, obviously. But yeah, you would select the firm that you think best aligns with the needs of the county, and then they would go and conduct an investment grade audit, which is really final engineering and design, very resource intensive, which is why you select the firm to go do that. And then they would present, you know, the possible scope of work to you, and you would decide, you know, whether it was something that fit your needs or not.
Okay. Good. Was there anything else you need from us today?
No, I think that's it. I really appreciate the time.
We're really excited. I mean, I didn't know how we were going to be able to make the improvements until you explained this model. Now I think we might have a shot at doing this.
Just so you know, this is as excited as Ben gets. This scene here is Pete then. He's incredibly excited.
It's true.
It's true. Yeah. Let's try to do something good here.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. We're going to do BEI.
Yeah, between Jeff and I.
Okay. Oh, you know about the BEI thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know
that
that.
has just an addendum to the contract. Basically, currently we have paper shredding services through
Perillo Archival Solutions.
Perillo Archival Solutions. Basically, this is another, you know, we've been very happy with the way BEI has worked in the courthouse and the work that they've done with the cleaning contract. We actually had a nice party last week for everybody. They came down and had cake. It was really nice. Had a great time. We'd really like to try to help expand their operation here to include paper shredding. And The only thing that I didn't look at was what we're currently paying for paper shredding. I mean,
About $57.
yeah, it's comparable. It's
Yes.
basically the same. And all it is we basically would have an addendum to our current contract. They would come in and handle all of our paper shredding. There are documents that are, and I think there's some certification that they have to go through or something in order to.
We get a certificate
Yeah.
that they have picked up our documents and that they have shredded them.
Yeah.
And this is the paper that goes in the boxes that are locked, one in the copy room, there's one at, BEI would build lock boxes, and then they would come in and shred either in the copy room, or we would move the shredder like to the basement, and they would come in and their clients would shred the documents for us. So they would never leave our building. They would continue to shred here in our courthouse, and we wouldn't pay for Perillo to come in and pick those up.
Are they going to be bonded to be handling sensitive material?
I'm not sure about bonding, but my understanding is they're aware of some kind of certification process or something that they have to go through in order to be able for them to officially do it with legal services and other organizations. Because I know we had a conversation with them about that. We're putting this on. I'm pretty sure this is going on Wednesday. Is this going on Wednesday's agenda?
It can if you want it to be.
Yeah, I just put it on for the work session.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're okay with this, what we could do in the interim between now and Wednesday is basically have a conversation with Dr. Clark to make sure that whatever legal requirements there would be, because I know the courts, I mean, it's very important for them that they're put in there for a reason, so that they're shredded and that they're destroyed completely so that there's no record of them. Even though I would say there's lots of people who just toss paper just because they don't want to shred it.
There is.
But,
yes.
but for the documents that need to be destroyed, yeah, I mean, we would want, because I know we had a conversation with them. I think that was one of the first questions that we asked them was for sensitive material where there's HIPAA concerns and other things that you guys are capable of doing whatever's necessary in order to make sure that's the case. So what I'll do between now and Wednesday is follow up with them and make sure that we have some verification from them as to what exactly needs to be done so that we're 100% on it. Everybody can be comfortable, because I certainly don't want it to be a situation where people don't put papers in there because they're scared that they're going to end up somewhere that they shouldn't.
I have a question.
Sure.
When you have 5 people shredding, are they going to have one or two particular people that will do this all the time, or are they going to just bring anybody down to the shredding?
Well, my assumption is if they have some type of certification, because I know one exists, like that in order to do it, that they would have the handful of people that are supposed to do it, and that they would do it on a regular basis.
In other words, you'd have a certified.
Yeah, whatever.
Because some of the, I mean, no offense to the people that are up there, but you know what I'm trying to get at.
Well, they're always monitored by someone. So, I mean, in this case, obviously, this is really important to the county that sensitive documents be destroyed properly. So, I think that we would just stress that to them, that we want to know verifiably that they're going to utilize a process that doesn't put the county at liability. Because the last thing we want is a lawsuit over documents being circulated that are supposed to be destroyed. I mean, that's.
Once you shred the paper, where does it go?
The dumpster.
And it's shredded good enough where nobody could...
It's completely destroyed. Yeah, I mean.
Well, basically, what does it do now? We save it, and it goes for a horse stall.
Right now, I'm collecting the shredding for a horse that's allergic to hay.
Are you paying for the shredding? No.
One of the that's
the
good.
dumpster.
That's something that I wanted to ask you about just generally. Is there if there's one horse like that? I mean, how many horses are there? Is this something that we could
She uses it for bedding.
as part of the recycling bit and everything? I was thinking about it, like if we could use paper shreddings, because otherwise they're going to end up in a landfill.
Right.
I mean,
Darlene
Wait.
Peterson used to
For a
collect it.
cow.
Yeah, well, I was wondering if maybe if we made a more formal program, people could request them, we could collect them someplace or put them down
They used
somewhere
to
else.
save them, and people would come in and pick them up.
Yeah.
Now I take them out back every Friday. What's there?
That would be a good
Her husband picks them up.
community
Yeah,
service.
yeah, absolutely. And even have, I mean, that's something that when we're putting the center together out in Starbrick is have a place where people can dump paper clippings and we'll collect them and people can pick them up for their animals if they've got animals that can't
And this
get
horse is
away.
allergic to hay.
Yeah. It's like the poodle of horses.
Yeah.
Very good. So, and again, this is all part of our effort to assist BEI as the regulations have changed at the state level related to shelter workshops and trying to get people with disabilities working to a larger extent integrated in the community. The cleaning agreement has been an overwhelming success in my opinion, so I think this would be another one where especially if we convey to them what our need is, would be another chance for a really great opportunity.
And they would not be here like every day, all day. They would be here maybe 3 days a week, 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's teaching them how to work with the public.
And there are some departments that won't use those boxes, they shred it themselves.
Yeah.
So this
There
way-
won't be enough shredder available.
But that's what I mean, maybe they'll be more comfortable just putting it in the boxes if they know it's gonna be shredded on the premises.
Oh, that could be too.
I guess my next question would be, are you going to use the current shredder you have?
Yes.
Because a lot of documents require confetti shredders.
Well,
And I don't know if they use a confetti shredder, Willows, or...
I'm not sure either, but that shredder has been here for 20-some years.
Do this after the pile.
And
I
it isn't
understand,
any
but
shredding,
a lot of
so.
federal documents have to be confetti shredded. Because you can take that shredder and put them back together.
That's what I was asking.
The strips.
Yep.
Well, then we'll review that with them too.
Yeah.
Because we want to function under, we don't want any liabilities.
Well, they may not know we would have to find out what the rules and regs are, and maybe they can't use our shredder, and therefore we can't do this program with them.
Yeah, well, we can find out, I think we can find that out in the next couple of days. We can
All right,
try.
well-
And if not, we'll just table it.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and put it on the agenda. And is there anything else while we're talking about that meeting that you want to put on the agenda?
No, I don't think,
I can't think of anything either. It's
it'll probably come to me 5 minutes after we leave.
the basics plus
Yes.
ratification of the SEIU contract. That's the only thing that's on there, so. It'll be
And
a
there- yeah.
refreshingly short meeting.
It will be, and there is no, nothing new. Nothing new for the personnel ratification. Keep it a short meeting because Commissioner Eggleston will not be there on Wednesday.
Oh, that's right.
All right.
Sorry.
Well, you won't be here to advocate your program.
Oh, we can table it.
And for that matter, you were the one that negotiated the union contract too.
Have fun. I could probably, I could probably go for like 10 minutes.
Do we have enough commissioners to have the meeting?
Yeah, I don't know if we'll have a quorum then.
You'll have two,
She's coming.
as far as I know.
Sorry.
Okay,
No comment.
well, can you at least come for 10 minutes?
Yeah, no, well, it's the last meeting of the redevelopment task force, so I think that what I may do is email everybody and let them know to be 15 minutes late, and maybe
Okay.
what I'll do is show up so that I can at least go over the SEIU contract.
That'd be really appreciated, because I don't,
Yeah.
I mean, I know, I've read everything, but
Yeah, no.
I wasn't there for the give
To
and
answer
take.
questions, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
And the shredding, can we put on for 2 weeks so that you are there to help advocate for them?
Okay, yeah, and it'll give us more time. I'm sure that they'll be fine if they have to wait 2 weeks.
Okay, good. Anything else?
Well, the only other thing is I just wanted to confirm, because Wednesday is going to be our first town hall meeting, the schedule, and that you were comfortable with it. I'm going to send it out here in a few
I
minutes.
forgot to give you my PowerPoint.
Yeah, is again, I was going to do, we talked about doing 10 minutes for each person, or 15.
15.
Oh yeah, it was 15 minutes for each person, and then that way there was 45 minutes left for question and answer at the end. And we got a letter done, and we're sending it out. So today we'll send a letter out, and I think what we'll do is post again on Facebook and maybe send some emails to Sheffield to just remind them.
Okay.
And I've gotten several really good emails about people who are planning on attending and have topics that they want us to discuss.
Okay.
Nothing for Sheffield, so.
Great.
And I will probably just stay and work and then catch a ride with you guys to the
Okay.
town hall meetings.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, because I have to come back
Which
here
one
anyway.
is this? Sheffield?
This one is in Sheffield at the Lion's Den.
Okay.
That'll be nice. My plan is to just show up like pretty early, actually, probably like an hour and a half early to set up and have everything ready.
Because we'll have to discuss how you want to do the refreshments.
Yeah, water and donuts and stuff and coffee.
Okay. I'll get you my PowerPoint.
Yeah, because I
You want it
figured
today, right? Or tomorrow?
it's Wednesday.
So you want
Well, he'll probably need that today because we are going to be gone tomorrow at the
That's right.
Northwest County Commissioners Quarterly Meeting.
All right. I'll put it on my
If
afternoon.
you get it to me, but just try to, at the end of the day, Tuesday would be fine. Because
End of the
as
day
long as you
tomorrow.
email it to me.
Okay. Okay, I'll work on it. I'm sorry, where did we leave off? That was sort of Commissioner's upcoming meeting, Commissioner's schedule, anything to note? I'm going to be in Harrisburg on Friday for possibly a meeting with Motorola and definitely the Pennsylvania Sheriff's Association.
Okay.
That's about the only interesting thing when we're going to the thing tomorrow. Do you need me to prepare anything for that?
No.
Okay. Anything else then from you? Any project updates?
There's a bunch, but
You can
save
wait.
it.
Okay.
We've already been here
All right, yeah.
quite a while.
Committee of department updates.
Just a reminder that July 21st is the Veterans Picnic. Veterans and families, commissioners are invited to attend.
I'll be out of the county. I'll be out of the state, so I'm sorry I can't come.
We're hoping to have a bigger turnout than we had last year, so
It was pretty big last year.
that was our first one, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you make sure that you email me the date, the time, the location, so that I can get it on the commissioners' calendars? Thank you.
Okay, any general discussion? Any public comment about anything?
I do have one.
Sure.
You're going to Harrisburg, did I hear you say?
On Friday, yeah.
Right. Can you check on the status of that bill for the sheriffs getting the power that we're trying to get on? I know they had an amendment to the bill,
Right.
and I kind of would like a little more information before I start what I'm going to start.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure that when I'm at the Pennsylvania Sheriff's Association meeting, that will be a topic of discussion.
I would appreciate if you relay some stuff back to me because we have to get that bill passed.
Sure. Remind me on Monday to give you the update then.
I will.
Any other public comment? Anything to bring before the board? Going once? Guess we're adjourned. Oh, I'm sorry. One more thing. Sorry, I completely forgot. The paper's sitting in front of me. Really briefly, Director Flynn of the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency sent me several certificates of appointment. We appoint people to the local emergency planning committee, LEPC. I'm the commissioner representative on that, so he sent these to me. We appointed Reen Davis, Robert Frazier, Paula Shereno, and Justin Snell to the LEPC. Actually, they auto-renewed, and the director sent me these certificates to pass out and add to a public meeting. So I was just making the announcement in this meeting, And
Did we
the next-
already appoint them?
Yeah, we appointed them a while ago, and
Oh, well then
they're
they
just getting their certificates of
Okay.
appointment, and asked that we announce it and thank them for their service to the committee in a public meeting. So that's all I'm doing. With that, I guess we're adjourned. Thank you.